Yes, sir.
Anyways, so I hope you can see it now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's try to start from the last class. Yeah. So as you can see, this is basically three-dimensional representation. Can you still see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is basically a two-dimensional structure of a 3D MOSFET transistor. And since your source and your drain are N plus, so that is why we call this as a N MOSFET transistor. Okay, and you can see whenever the technology node, which is your basically your either they call it gate length or the channel length, and then there's what you call as the effective channel length. I think those things you should have studied before, but just trying to revise few things for your basic understanding. And I'm still waiting uh, for the electronic design automation tool, which has all these device simulators and also for your IC design, which is front end and back end. So that becomes very much essential for doing the IC design, basically the VLSI design. So as we had mentioned that, we classify the design into two aspects. One is the digital IC design and the analog IC design. So the analog, we have kind of kept it for future purpose, and we also talked of using the type of transistor, which is like the MOSFET transistor, with respect to previous generation metrology, and that was essentially good for your analog circuits application. So the major pointers why we chose to have MOSFET where that was less leakage. So basically, the moment you're talking about leakage, you're talking about in terms of power dissipation. The second part was miniaturization. The miniaturization. This is a very, 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 very most important and the most critical factor, and that is why you are now able to do what you are able to do. Remember, just 10 to 15 years back, you had a separate GPS system, you had a separate thing for your mobiles, for making calls, and then you had a separate, say, computer, and then you had a separate camera, digital SLRs and stuff like that. Now everything is integrated. That happened because of the miniaturization of chip. What that basically means is that this transistor uh, on which you are able to translate so many different types of circuits, that transistor has been squeezed. So the moment if you are able to squeeze one transistor, so you are able to have more and more number of transistors per unit area, and that has happened since the very inception. Remember the very first microprocessor we talked about, 4004. Its channel length. Somewhere you may hear it as a gate length, somewhere you may hear it as a channel length. So this is how the industry is defining. So it has gone. It was around 10 micrometer. How much is micron? Hello, how much is micron?
10 to the power -6.
Okay, and nowadays I think we just saw from the Intel slide, it does not, it has gone below, it's hovering around few tens of nanometer. I think 11 nanometer. Last time from the Intel website we saw it is 32 nanometer. How much is nanometer? 10 power
-9.
-9. So the dimension has been scaled down to that kind of limit. So that is how the so-called channel length, or somewhere in gate length. You would hear, different people from different industry. Apple may be defining it differently, Samsung may be defining it differently, Intel may be defining it differently. Some may choose to have the channel length, some may choose to have the gate length. Okay, so that basically defines the technology node, and on which your all digital circuits are coming into play. And why we are talking about digital circuits? Because it's only in the digital circuits that we require more and more transistor. Analog circuits like your op-amp or DFAM and so on and so forth, it can be made up of very few transistors, and so you do not, there is no requirement whatsoever to for you to have those circuits. While in digital, there is a constant requirement to scale it down, so that few things, like few things including your memory density, so means memory capacity, or your speed of the transistor is being scaled up. And also because of the important physics parameter of the flow of the charge carrier from your source to drain, the distance between the source is down. That also helps in your effective speed of the switching speed of the transistor. So digital, as when we are talking about switching speed, we're focusing on the digital part, where you're talking about logic 0, which is IDD, or logic 0, which is low VDD, or a high VDD, which is logic 1. Okay, so in digital, these are the only thing, and that is how the whole world has come up into a binary. Now everything, whether you are translating or sending any kind of data from one place to another, is now happening in digital. So all kind of communication that you're seeing in your smartphones, mobile, everything is digital. The storage is digital, everything is in digital. And remember, in our previous class, we said that all that programming, everything that is written, ultimately boils down to zeros and ones. So everything, every word, every string, everything is in zeros and ones. So that's how the story is. So everything, all kind of arithmetic calculation, every string, every number is represented by zeros and ones only. Period. So, so the transistor is where those states would be taking place. So either this transistor would be in a low state or in high state, and that is why the transistor is generally called as a switch. So the important thing is that when we are talking about this transistor digital application, we are talking it as a switch, which can either have a 0 state or a 1 state. So basically, for digital application, which is the dominant, circuits in all kind of IT products that you come across. Things like I think you must have heard about a buzzword which is coming on these days, which is cryptocurrency, or digital currency. There also you're using the same thing. You're using hardware basically based on this thing. It's all across. Anything that you talk about is just an application of this. So I think that is what I had asked Manasa to kind of share, whether you're talking about learning, whether you're talking about big data, whether you're talking about cryptocurrency, so on and so forth. Okay, so I think we'll just give the reference, and remember, try to see genuine reference from the companies like the IBMs, Intel Research, or Samsung, or Apples of the world, or TSMC and Qualcomm, Broadcom, and Nvidia of the world, and even things like Amazon or Google. They are also all these big, huge data centers. So you would be knowing where exactly what is getting stored, and that is why we try to, get into the ultimately storage also is directly related to your digital circuit design, which is related to the transistors working in the transistor working in the switch. That means transistor working either in state 0 or transistor operation in state 1, transistor operation in state 0 or transistor operation in state 1. So here you can see basically it's a four-terminal device. You have the source, you have the gate. So gate generally is either metal, or of lately it is polysilicon, which is acting as a metal. So it's almost having a very high electrons like a metal. So you people must be already aware about what is a metal semiconductor insulator and what do you mean by metal. So what is Pecker's number, and semiconductor, as we say, when it goes from intrinsic to a very high valence of the high density of charge carriers, that means it's going from 10 power 15, 16, and it's been scaled up to 10 power 18, 19, and beyond. So and beyond basically means that it's becoming more and more metallic. So more and more metallic would be beyond 18, 19, going into 21, 23, and stuff like that. So polysilicon is the material generally used in lieu of or in place of your metal. So this is the second terminal. The first one is the source. The second one, you can see those black spots, which is basically acting as contacts. So one is the gate, one is the source, one is the drain, and the last one is the body. Okay. So this kind of configuration is where your channels are, where your source and drain are N plus, and even the channel. So this being a P substrate, the channel here initially has, I mean, like at the interface you have what you call as the depletion. As you keep on increasing the bias at the gate, then you are able to introduce a reversal of the charge, or reversal of what is there inside the P type of substrate, and you have the N plus channel which happens at the surface between your oxide semiconductor and your semiconductor interface. So this is basically the electrons then move from source into this very ultra thin channel, which is your inversion agent, into your drain, and so conduction basically happens. So this is how your transistor acts as a switch. And we already defined important parameters like the threshold voltage. It is the voltage that is given to the gate for this inversion to happen or the channel formation to happen. So basically N plus, and then at the interface you have N plus again, and at the source also, sorry, source, and this is drain. So both at source and drain you have N plus, and then there is a inversion happening in the P type of substrate. I hope you have studied the basic operation of a MOSFET transistor. Hello?
Yes, sir, we have studied.
Okay. All right. So now it's also talking about some of the other terminologies which you can see here. It is talking about this effective channel length. That actually is the real channel length instead of the one which basically, because that happens basically because of the overlapping of the source and drain region, its extension on the side base. So the effective channel length is somewhat smaller than the real channel length, and it is equivalent to the real channel length minus the side diffusion length, which is LD, which is happening both sides. So this part and this part. Can you see the cursor also? Can you see the cursor also? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So now the symbolic representation, I'm just trying to, revise few things. I expect you to already see this. So the symbolic representation of N MOSFET is like this, where you have a drain, you have gate, you have source, and the body. So this is a four-terminal device: drain, gate, body, and source. And the current basically is bang opposite of the charge carriers that flow. So in N MOSFET, you have N plus channel source, N plus channel is drain, and N plus channel which is happening at the interface of oxide semiconductor, which is the inversion layer. And so the electron moves from source to drain. Obviously here at drain you have a positive potential, and so positive always attracts negative. So the electrons would move from source into the drain because of the positive potential. And the channel formation, inversion channel formation, or the channel formation just beneath the oxide semiconductor interface happens to be N plus. That is guided by the voltage that you are or the bias that you give to your gate terminal. So that basically leads to the inversion layer that forms. So the voltage that basically determines beyond which there is a complete formation of this layer is what you call, and I think you must have studied in detail, is called the threshold voltage. So threshold voltage is where you have the complete formation and flow of your charge carriers from the source to drain in the N MOSFET transistor configuration. The other thing that I would like to say is that since the electrons move in this direction, so the current would move in the band opposite direction, and that is what is shown. So there, here the cursor is, current is basically going from drain into the gate into the source. This inversion layer and into the source. So this is how the current. So the direction of electrons and currents are band opposite. So this is the basic representation of a N MOSFET transistor. And here we have considered that both body and source are not biased or basically grounded. Okay, so this is how the NMOS happens. Now, bang opposite to this is, or just opposite to this configuration is your PMOS FET transistor. So can anybody tell us in brief about the PMOS transistor? Hello? Yeah, Rajiv, Aditya, Samata, Manas, Kunal. Kunal? You left? Aditya? Are you people there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you just tell us about the PMOS FET transistor? Can you please tell us about the PMOS FET transistor? Sanya, Ram Mohan, Premlata?
Sir,
So
in PMOS transistor, we take substrate as N substrate, and the wells are of P types, source and drain wells that we create. And here in this, as
don't call it wells. They are not exactly wells.
yes, sir. So in
The
gate
doping
transistor.
Yeah, go
Yes,
ahead.
doping. Yes, sir. We do the coping of P doping And in the gate voltage, here we apply negative voltage so that holes will get so that holes get attracted to the upper region, and the channel will be of holes. Like in case of
Correct.
NMOS.
I think so far so good. Okay, so this is just the bang opposite. So here you can see the current is moving from say source to drain. Sorry, from drain to source, right? So this is your VDD, where you give your high potential. So the current is moving from drain into the source, where the source is basically grounded, and here also the body is grounded. Remember, in the real structure, which is this is a 2D representation of the 3D structure, the body part here it is shown at the top. So this is how actually you're having in the fabrication part of it. So here the body is not at the bottom, but it's a separate terminal which is having a P plus configuration, P plus substrate, where the body is. So that is again either given a zero bias or a negative bias. Obviously, why? Because of the reasons I think which is basically making it the whole region as a P plus configuration. Okay, so this is how you are having N MOSFET, while in P MOSFET it is bang opposite. So you have doping of your drain and source with P plus, which means that holes are majority carriers, while electrons are minority carriers, and the body or the substrate that you're having is N type of substrate. Now this can be configured in many ways. I think in terms of technology, you have P well, you have N well, so or the twin well. There are different types of technology in which you try to either make PMOS transistor or an NMOS transistor or a mixture of both PMOS and NMOS transistor on the same type of substrate. So that depends on ion implantation and the doping. So that basically makes your drain and source as P plus region, while your body as your N region. And again, by applying the gate, again here you have to apply a voltage, gate voltage. This gate voltage would define the threshold voltage for P MOSFET transistor. So here you can see the voltage and your semiconductor. Yes, Sanya?
So 0 or less than 0.
Yeah, negative, not zero.
Yes.
Zero wouldn't do anything.
The substrate to that layer.
Substrate is N type. That means and the potential at which this whole formation of this layer, that voltage here also would be defined as the threshold voltage. So here you would have P plus, P plus source and drain, and P plus inversion layer. Okay, so here you are having negative voltage, and then again which are moving in the which direction holes are moving. So what yes, Sanya?
So the direction of current, holes will be moving in the direction of current only.
Yeah,
Source
correct.
to drain.
Correct. So what should be the potential that should be given in this case?
Source will be in higher potential and drain negative potential.
Okay, with respect to source, it would be negative. Yeah, I think that seems fine. So you would want the current to basically follow this path where it's going from source to drain. And body here can be what here we can right now we can ignore body, but there will be cases where body itself would generate a field that would play with the inversion layer and the depletion layer between the source and, and the substrate or drain or the substrate, whether you are talking about N MOSFET transistor or a P MOSFET transistor. And that is why we have a positive type of threshold voltage in an N MOSFET transistor and a negative type of or negative threshold voltage in a P MOSFET configuration. Okay, so here instead of showing it at the bottom, because in the real fabrication step it is done at a sideways. So this is basically the top part where you have in gate, source, and drain, and this acts as a body. So this is basically a substrate contact, and this basically forms a complete N MOSFET transistor. So the substrate bias should be connected with the negative mode supply of the system. So there are different types of wells it's talking about. So we will not get into different types of wells. It depends on what exactly is required by the end customer. Now, we also define two different types of MOSFET operation. One is the enhancement mode MOSFET configuration, and the other one is the depletion mode MOSFET configuration. So you need to understand the underlying physics when we are choosing when we are talking about these two different types of MOSFET configuration. So MOSFET, just by applying different types of potential, can be either in the enhancement mode or the depletion mode. As we already know that when you apply a 0 volt and there is no channel whatsoever, there is no channel whatsoever, when you have a drain voltage which is generally in the off state or the zero state and there is no channel, then the type of mode or configuration of your MOSFET is referred to as the enhancement mode MOSFET configuration. While when you apply no voltage, again, this is for your N channel, N MOSFET type of transistor. Again, in the N MOSFET type of transistor, when you apply almost zero bias, but still you have a channel where you are having some kind of a drain current, due to which there is some kind of a channel. So this channel exists even before you are applying a gate voltage. Remember, there is always a small channel that is existing between the oxide semiconductor interface, and that is why you have the so-called threshold, sub-threshold current, which is far less than the current that is flowing when your inversion layer forms. So the modes of the MOSFET and MOSFET transistors can be again bifurcated into the enhancement mode and depletion mode, depending upon the channel formation when you have zero bias given to the gates. Remember, there is no voltage that you're giving to the gate. Moment you apply gate, obviously you would form all these channels, and that is how you define your threshold voltage. But without any kind of gate bias, just on some voltage that is there on your drain side of your N MOSFET configuration, you would have two different modes of MOSFET operation. So we shall be only talking about or focusing on the enhancement mode MOSFET transistor, in which there is no channel formation without no channel formation when your gate voltage is seen. Only when the gate voltage is applied, which is equal to or greater than threshold voltage, there is an inversion layer or the channel is formed between your source and drain. So this is for N MOSFET. The same thing also goes for your P MOSFET. Any questions so far? Hello? Hello? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Banot? Banot, Manas, Ramohan? I will ask you this thing in your examination, determination of the threshold voltage in digital, what is depletion mode or enhancement mode. Have you done these things before, or you're doing it for the very first time? Anything you want to revise, you also let me know. Manali? The number is always high, but I don't see any talking whatsoever.
Sir, can we have these slides for to read?
Can you be louder? I cannot hear you. Manas?
Yes, sir. So can we have these slides to read, sir? For I mean, if
It's all there in the book. It's all there in the book. I'm just trying to cherry pick some of the slides for you to understand. I hope you have already done that.
okay, sir.
And can you be louder? I cannot hear you. Can you be louder?
So actually, there's a problem with the mic, sir. I mean, this is persisting from 2-3 days. I will fix it.
Okay, okay. So the concept of threshold voltage is also very, very important and critical. So moment we are talking about MOSFET transistor, why do we call them as a MOSFET transistor is basically because you have a configuration where you are having gate as a metal, then oxide which acts as an insulator, and S which is your semiconductor. And then you have two major fields that are working. One is the horizontal field effect transistor. Field effect transistor. Obviously, it is acting as a transistor. That's the first thing. But it is unlike your BJT or other JFETs or other types of transistor. How? Because first, whether you talk of N MOSFET or a P MOSFET, it is only talking of one type of charge carrier, but having two types of field. So one is the horizontal field that we are talking about, and the other one being the vertical field. So the vertical field that we are talking about is the field that is majorly due to the voltage that you are giving to the gate or to a certain extent on your drain, but predominantly due to the voltage that you are giving to the gate and your body. So the potential difference or the bias between your gate and your body. So that would be the vertical field that is coming into picture. And the other type of field is the field that is basically because of this vertical field plus the field that is getting formed due to the difference of potential between your source and drain. So there's a plane of these inversion layers that are forming just beneath. So this is a two-dimensional representation. All these things are two-dimensional representation. The two-dimensional representation of a 3D transistor structure. So you are having a sheet of this inversion layer formation, and because of this sheet formation that is due to the vertical field or the potential that you're giving to your gate, you have these formations, while on the horizontal side you have the majority carriers moving out from N plus source into the N plus drain because of the potential difference between the source and drain. So a sheet, this field of horizontal field basically helps you to drive the majority carriers or the carriers from your source to your drain, while the vertical fields helps you in the formation of sheet itself. So if this is zero, if the drain voltage is zero, then there will be almost no current between this and between your drain and source, though there may be a kind of inversion layer or inversion sheet just beneath the oxide interface. So you have to imagine this not as a 2D but as a 3D structure. So in a 3D structure, it's not a single line or single layer, it is a sheet of inversion layer which forms just beneath the oxide. Okay, and there are two major capacitances. Remember, there are two major capacitances. So one capacitance is if we talk in terms of the vertical field, there are two major capacitances which comes into picture that basically regulates the onset of your inversion layer. Those are the oxide capacitance and the depletion capacitance. So the oxide capacitance and the depletion capacitance basically regulates the overall field effect, which plays an important and critical role on the onset of these inversion layers and the formation of the inversion layer, through which we are able to define the threshold voltage of the transistor. Okay. So what is the threshold voltage? It is the, please note down, this is most critical and there shall be numericals based on this. Class, are you there? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So basically, we have already talked about the two major capacitances which come into picture when we are applying a gate voltage, and it influences the inversion sheet formation just below the oxide sheet or the dielectric sheet in the MOS configuration, metal oxide semiconductor configuration. And these two capacitances are in series. So basically, the first one being the depletion capacitance, while the other one being the oxide capacitance. And as we know, if they are in series, then the total capacitance would be 1 upon C, which is equal to 1 upon C depletion plus 1 upon C oxide. Okay, so this would give you the total capacitance which would come into play. So the minimum value of voltage that is required to invert the surface and form an effective channel, inversion channel or inversion sheet. Channel would, you would say, in terms of a two-dimensional representation of a three-dimensional formation. So this inversion channel to get formed is defined by this VTH. So where VTH is the threshold voltage, which is equal to phi ms. Please note down, all of you, please note down. Hello, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. VTH is equal to phi ms plus 2 times phi f plus ratio of depleted charge carriers to the overall capacitance. So what is phi ms? What is phi ms?
Sir, we don't know.
You have never done this before?
So we have calculated threshold voltage, but we have
You
learned
calculate
about.
without understanding.
No, sir, we have used the VGS voltage and using all the way. We were always given that 0.3 voltage or this. We were not taught this formula. So we were taught about depletion capacitance and oxide formula, not exactly this way.
This is the only formula. There is no other thing. I mean,
No, sir, we were given to the theory that there's this depletion
so that is
capacitance
what
and
I mean. Like, if you've done basic courses, then you should be knowing what exactly is this. What is that? Basically, goes deep down into physics, like metal semiconductor work function difference. What is work function? What is Fermi level? These are part of your physics, which is in your first year or second year. That is how you are getting this thing. And I will definitely have a question in this test on determination of your threshold voltage given different types of parameters. Do you know what is phi f, or do you know what is V conversions? And have you done on MOSFET how to determine the inversion voltage or threshold voltage for a MOS configuration? That is very critical. Without that, you cannot understand. Hello? Hello? I'm getting no response. Am I audible?
yes, sir.
Tell me.
So we were not taught. We were not taught. Were taught about verb functions in physics that for removing an electron from a but not directly in this the MOSFET.
So that you need to apply in semiconductor
Yes, sir.
in a transistor. That is open-ended. This is for your specific application to determine the threshold voltage, to determine the voltage that is required for the inversion layer to form. So what is phi ms? Is the difference between the metal and semiconductor work function. What do you mean by work function?
So the work function represents the energy which is required to remove an electron from the
The minimum energy required to eject an electron from a metal surface.
Okay, which book did you follow when you were doing semiconductor devices or physics or whatever? Because we are just talking about specific. I cannot go back to make you understand what is phi f or phi ms. That itself will take 1 to 2 classes at least. I can give you a problem.
yes, sir.
What? Yes, sir.
So you can provide us.
Huh? Which book did you follow?
So it was micro electronic circuits by that is like Cedra Smith, and
What is
what we did
got
majorly.
to do with this? Where's circuits coming? Microelectronic circuits. Cedra Smith is
Sir,
basically
actually,
is
no,
on analog using BJT.
that is what we learned. Like the MOSFET thing,
There
we
is
have.
no MOSFET there. It's mostly on BJTs on analog.
So in digital logics, we Morris Mano. We followed Morris Mano.
So digital logic is very different. Logic is basically talking about.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
talking from transistor to basic circuit design. Basic circuit design using CMOS. Cedra and Smith is basically using BJT. That's even for analog circuits. Nobody uses BJT. It's just for academic purpose. Did you not study anything on semiconductor devices? You did not study PN junction. You did not study basics of semiconductor physics. This course is not on semiconductor physics. This course is, so this if you've not done, I would request you to kindly do as a homework. And if you still do not know, I think I will get those materials. Now we are using the transistor. It's not that, you know, you studied work function or you studied inversion somewhere. You shall be using that to determine. Now tell me the threshold voltage. Tell me the depletion width. Going into engineering aspect of it. Into designing of the chip. Into designing of the transistor. Okay, please note down this much please. What is Phi F? Do you know, or you don't? You've never heard, you are hearing for the very first time in life. What is flat band voltage? Do you know? Hello? Please say something. Mansa, Rammohan, Sandeep, Sanya, Manali, Kunal.
So can you please repeat the last question? Sound break.
Okay, I think I would request you. There's only 5 minutes that is left. So I would want you, let's finish with this. I would want you to do this as a homework. Try to first write the whole formula for determination of the threshold voltage and try to understand. If you have not done this before, I hope and I surely think you must have done how to determine a threshold voltage of a MOSFET transistor. Otherwise, you have not studied MOSFET if you do not know these basic. See, even in some of the lectures, these are the very first lectures in which they are talking. So this has to be done. We are getting into circuits, but this, you should be knowing how to determine the threshold voltage so that you can play around. Once you know what